Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger, my friends. Here we are again today with another Mortal Kombat trailer, this time for Sektor for the upcoming Khaos Reigns MK1. And this trailer, just like the Cyrax trailer, is pretty wild. We have some story bits. They're giving away a fair bit of the story to the point where I'm pretty sure I know how the first half is going to play out at this point. At least till Papa Havoc shows up and does his thing. But we also have some incredibly interesting gameplay details as well. Sektor is very flashy looking. A lot of Sektor's normals look like other people's specials because there's rockets and just particle effects happening everywhere. We gotta look at what the Jax cameo can do now. The cameos can do different things in Khaos Reigns. It's pretty big, but also we have some more cameo changes outside of this trailer. So let's dig into that first. So this was posted on Twitter. This is completely outside of this trailer. But Sektor versus Scorpion, also letting it be known that Madame Bo is Sektor's mother. And thanks to the press release I got today, that also means that Madame Bo is Lin Kuei as well. So there's a lot of lore there, I'm sure. But we got the clip here, Sektor doing cool things. And then we have the Sonya cameo show up. So it looks like Sonya has a new ambush move that's pretty crazy. As she comes off the screen, bounces off you first, and then goes into the enemy with a bit of a dive kick, a drop kick. And that's already crazy. A lot of the cameos are getting all new moves. And then she can enhance that into the classic bicycle kick upwards, like Mortal Kombat 3 style. So that's technically two new moves for the cameo. Cameos are getting expanded in a very big way, as we'll go on when we talk about the Jax section in this trailer. So that said, let's get into it now. We're going to start with the gameplay first, and then we'll talk the story bits. So first off, combo time. So it looks like Sektor has a naturally advancing string, 4-2-1, something like that, into a launcher. Into some rocket shots. Now, a few things to note here. So Sektor uses a rocket launcher / gun to shoot a lot of the rockets now, which it's perfectly fine. Comes out from the extendo arm. It's more than just compacting people for the fatality now, right? Also has a shield, which we'll see later. And many of these rockets, they only have a hitbox when it actually explodes, not when it makes contact with the enemy. The air one has some very aggressive angles, so fair enough. We got a rocket slide to end off the combo. What looks like an overhead, just given the way the animation is done. Also, once again, pulling out the extendo arm with the gun, just blasting people. The animation is really sick. And although Sektor immediately can't follow up from it, at least not appearingly so, it does have that bounce attached to it, so it's certainly going to play well with ambush cameos. You'll get your combos, don't worry. Going from there, we have a string that looks like it could be something like 4-2, big rocket punch, nice animation, into the Goro summon for the toss. And then we're going to get a peek at something we saw from the very first reveal, in that Sektor has air jumps / double jumps. So it can do an air string, double jump, and then keep the combos going. I'm sure Sektor looks to be a very fun combo-based character. And then we get an air shield charge, which is really cool. So guns and shields in the moveset. And then here is Sektor's back throw. Classic flamethrowers are live. Also to note, not Sektor, but it looks like they're beating up a Havoc-ized version of Katana with a mohawk and all that. I like the whole punk rock aesthetic. The whole elegant beauty thing, nah, I'm not for it. Mohawk, punk rock, let's do it. So now moving on to our next section, well, more rockets. So we get a strike into EX rockets, and this is coming from Sektor directly. So I guess big rockets come from the gun, mini rockets come from the suit. I guess that's the logic we're going with. Big launcher either way. Then we go into this fun little sequence. So air string that we saw before, although we're completing the air string, no air dash. And then we see EX air rocket, although this time it does explode on contact. So I'm assuming that's property of it being EX, that you're spinning meter versus its set explosion point. And then it's being canceled into another special, which is a big death from above. Sektor is effectively teleporting off screen, coming crashing down. And of course, we have the Jax cameo waiting in the wings on the side here. Goes for the backbreaker. We get a string follow-up, and instead of just a proper combo ender, we just take the quick knockdown and go into up rocket. Looks a little different than you might remember, although it comes in at a more aggressive angle now. More of a 45-degree angle. That's kind of cool. And yes, there is homing rockets that'll be shown later. That's EX version. And then we get a string ender, which also looks cool. All of Sektor's moves look really cool. The basic animations look like other people's specials. Sektor looks expensive, if that makes any sense. And then we hit the part of the trailer which I consider the most interesting part by a lot. So we have a rocket, Quan Chi gets hit, whatever, but we have Jax show up. And Jax is doing an all-new Kameo move. He's doing his gotcha punches. Not just for Kameo throws anymore, but there's a couple things going on. One, it's armored. He tanks through Quan Chi's projectile and just keeps on going. Two, he's hitting Darius. You know, hitting a Kameo, that's kind of a rarer trait. Like, yes, we have Eagle E for Peacemaker, absolutely. But that's Peacemaker only, compared to the fact literally everyone can pick Jax, right? Like, he's a Kameo that is for use for everyone. And this also seems a lot better. So if we're taking this on face value, this is an ambush call. So as long as you're not blocking or being hit, you can call it, sure. It is armored, it defends itself, it can tank through stuff. It can also tank through stuff for you because it eats the projectile you're seeing here and it doesn't go through to hit Sektor on the other end. And he does grab the Darius Kameo, but I think it's just as likely he'd grab anything else. I don't know, but if he got Quan Chi, I think he could grab Quan Chi as well. And if you can just ambush call, toss out randomly willy-nilly a self-armoring Kameo that just grabs the first thing it sees and then beats the crap out of it, that's kind of a big deal. Even if it is somehow assist only, that's still really interesting and gives the Peacemaker option to like literally every character in the game. It's ambush, it's armored, so it could potentially defeat or defend against a lot of annoying like Kameo setup and specific teams. Like we're seeing this with a lot of the new Kameo stuff, like, you know, we showed earlier the new Sonya moves. We know that Sub-Zero's getting a counter stance for his Kameo. Like, they're going extra crazy on this stuff now. Like, the limits are being removed. I'm just excited to see how this is all going to turn out, because stuff like this gives me a lot of hope for the future. But going from that, we see an EX teleport dive here, which also rejuggles, and then keeping the combo ability going. More rockets, non-EX, but it's already airborne, so more juggling. And then just splatting out Quan Chi. Next section here, we got a lot of airborne stuff. So big knee launcher. Follow up with Sonya's square wave. We have the double jump, although here it does take meter. You can see the flash, right? So I'm assuming if you're two airborne to be like Natara's air dashes, you got to pay for the privilege past the first one. Ending off the combo here just with another big old rocket, splitting the enemy to the ground. And yeah, so many fancy rockets, but regular straight rocket is still very much a thing and knocks down. And of course, homing rocket's still a thing, don't worry. So you can see the EX flash. We saw the up rocket before, but now with burning meter, we can see Ermac's doing the teleport on the other side of the screen. Even with the meter or tracking, you're going to get hit anyways. Looks like it creates a combo okay state, so that's awesome. We see the string we saw earlier, maybe like 4-2. The teleport crash knocks the enemy up. More follow-ups, more mini rockets for launching. And now is finally a peak for the flamethrower. So this looks really strong. So EX version, you can see the flash. It restands you, because this was a juggle, right? Restands you against your will. And it looks super advantage on the restand. Like, Sektor can dash up, and then we go into this weird little float stance. So this looks like a really primo way to end a lot of combos. If you know your Mortal Kombat, you know plus restands are very valuable and very strong in these games. And then we got this float/fly stance. So it low crushes. Like, Ermac goes low, immediately goes over his head, is fine. And we can burn meter here to get the air dash/double jump, but we can do it twice, so we can apparently play pretty silly with it. Other than offering the ability to get the double jumps off, I'm not sure what it is exactly, but it does look cool. Gonna be one of those deals we're gonna have to see it in game, I guess, but I like it. Then we go to Fatal Blow time, and Fatal Blow looks nice. Like, it's simple, but just kind of punching the crap out of you, and I do like the additional punches on the X-ray. And here's a cool one, the fatality. Normally I don't show the fatalities, but this one, it's not too bloody, so it should be safe for YouTube. And it's actually kind of inspired. I dig it. So we're going to space. Into the upper atmosphere, freezing the opponent. We're going to see Sektor, she can pull off like the Tony Stark. Like, we're seeing like the whole comm system and all that kind of stuff, right? And then we're going to burn you up on re-entry. That's actually really cool. I normally really don't care about fatalities, but that one, I like that one. And for her animality, because, you know, that is a thing now, right? She will turn into a rhinoceros and gore you. So, yeah, like, I don't know what else to say. That's an animality, I guess. Now for the story bits, we can kind of piece a lot of this together now, like the beginning parts, because you see here, she's at peace with Scorpion. And we got World War II Johnny Cage talking to her as well. So here's my timeline of events. There's Scorpion's wedding, Cyrax and Sektor invade, Cyrax has a crisis of conscience and kind of F's off. Sektor stays loyal, but then we have the Havoc invasion, and that throws a loop into everything. We lose Sub-Zero to Havoc, and then Sektor basically switches sides to the goodies. Sektor almost assuredly getting her own chapter for the story as well, right? That's usually how that works. Also, Chameleon getting a role, which I think is really cool. And we already know that Havoc's going to turn Sub-Zero into Noob Saibot, so now Cyrax and Sektor will get back together, and all ends happily ever after, I guess. Except for the part where we got to fight Havoc, where it's going to be like one giant kung fu battle, I'm sure. So basically, in the end, it looks like Sektor is going to be unwilling / unintended participant on Team Good Guy, and Team Good Guy is going to make her prove herself, as we can see, like, you know, fights and all that happening here. Maybe I'm wrong, but they've already shown enough stuff in the story trailers that it seems kind of easy to piece all this together. Wedding, big attack, Cyrax leaves, they go to finish a job or whatever, Havoc shows up, then an unlikely alliance has to happen. We'll find out on the 24th, I guess, right? But all in all, I think this is a very strong trailer. Sektor looks cool. I like the moveset. It's been evolved to the modern day very well. The stuff like the Jax cameo really inflames the animation because that could have really big repercussions. And we've seen that, like stuff like the Sub-Zero cameo as well. Like, they're willing to make stuff strong. Like, I know MK1 for some folks, it's been sort of shaky, right? But the last few patches, last few rounds of decisions they've been making have all been, to me anyways, for the greater benefit of the game. It seems to be shaping up in a really good way, and I'm excited to see where it's going to turn out. And I guess after this, we'll have a Noob Saibot trailer as well with some more story bits, so we'll see how that turns out. And all that said, my friends, that is the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Mortal Kombat.
Love we